What's up guys, welcome to the second episode of this series. We hope you enjoyed the first video. This one's going to be a big one because we actually look into some of the issues with the ECU and we could possibly be getting it started. But to figure that out, you're going to have to stay till the end of the video and find out if we actually do get it started. As well as some of the issues with the ECU that we're going to figure out. In this video, we're also going to be looking into the other issues this car has, which is the interior. That's filthy, so we have to give that one a good clean. The seats are out right now, so we need to figure out why the seats are doing the pirouettes and not actually going forward and back as they should. And we need to fix the sunroof as well, because right at the moment the sunroof does not go back at all. It just stays in this position like that.
So we were advised by the Mercedes electrical specialist to disconnect the TCU and the gear selector independently, then rescan. So we did this and nothing changed, exactly the same. So that only leaves one thing left, and that is the ECU. So now we'll disconnect the ECU and see if anything changes. Alright, let's see if anything's changed. Still no gear selection there. Oh, hold on. We can change the settings of the transmission now from the comfort and the sport and the manual. Jeez, that's crazy. Okay, what does that mean then? What?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I have no idea. At least we're making progress though. That's progress. That's progress.
Wait, don't we have that other ECU at home?
Oh yeah, we do. We haven't actually told you guys about that. We have another C63 at home that's coming in a future build. So we have another ECU at home that we can use.
Yeah, so guys, what I reckon we might try, because this thing is now switching into the sport modes and all the fancy, like, different modes it has, I reckon this could very well be related to the ECU. So we're gonna go home, grab the ECU, come back, and we'll double check, see what happens.
Yeah, we'll plug that one in and then see if anything changes. Hopefully we can get a gear selection. So now we have another ECU from the other car that we have at home that we're gonna put on and see if that makes any difference. All right guys, now let's see if that has made a difference. Moment of truth. Jesus, that is loud. Oh, that has not happened before. That has never happened before.
I hope you guys can hear this alright?
Yeah, we might have to come back in a second.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so you can probably still hear the fans, but another thing is, look at that. We now have a light on the dash for which gear we're in. So I think that points towards that the issue with this car is the ECU, and it was never the transmission ever to begin with, because as you can see, that says right there, we're in neutral right now. It still won't start because this is the wrong ECU. This is off a different car, so it won't start. I'll try start it now. Still nothing. Still won't start. That is because each ECU is coded to each car. So this ECU is coded to the car we have at home. So that's the reason why it won't let it start. We've got a light on the actual shifter. This one says we're in park, but that's because the gear selector isn't actually connected right now. But the computer at least knows what we're in. And this obviously works fine. So that means that this could be a really cheap fix.
Yep.
That's very good, very good, if it's not the transmission.
So based off that information, we decided to send off the ECU to Justin at ECU Repairs in New South Wales. We also want to say a special thank you to everyone that helped us in the comments last video. Please remember for future videos to keep commenting, liking and subbing, as it helps a small channel like us out a lot.
So we've taken the entire sunroof apart basically. We've taken the glass off here and the side trim pieces. We got the rails, the guide rails here. They appear to be pretty straight, nice and in line with one another, very straight. So that's not the issue. But over here, if we go over to the guides, we can see that this one is nice and straight. It's in line with the sunroof itself. but on this side, it's really, really bent. It doesn't even sit right at all, as you can see. Look how off center that is. That is just not how it's supposed to be. Show you this another angle. That's just not right. And then you got this side, nice and straight, perfectly in line. So we know that that's the issue with the sunroof. There was also a few pieces of rubber stuck in the actual rail, which we got out, which could have caused the jam, which could have caused this to bend. So we think that's why the sunroof's not working, and we're gonna now give it a clean and see what we can do.
So as you can see, the car has no sunroof. While that's off, we're going to take this opportunity to just give it a quick little clean in all these gutters. As you can see, there's a lot of dirt and debris, so let's get to it.
We have managed to bend it back so it is in line. So now they're both the same, both in line now. That one's nice and straight. This one, we took it off, bent it a bit, had to be careful because it's on the aluminium. And now it should hopefully not get jammed or anything, and the sunroof should work. So we're gonna try and rebuild the sunroof, see if we can get it to work properly. All right, now it's all clean. Christian is putting the guardrail on. Christian is getting it on. 3 screws. We'll do the same for the other side.
Alright guys, so the sunroof is actually fully on right now, but we're just refining a couple issues. So right now the anti-pinch protection isn't working properly, and it causes the sunroof to not close fully and then go back to the full open position. So right now, as you can see, if I just tilt the camera down, we're just going to press this button which resets that process, and once we press that button it just completes the full process and should reset that anti-pinch protection. And as you guys can see, the sunroof closes fully now instead of stopping from the resistance of the little sunshade that's at the front.
Yep, and now it works perfectly normal.
We also found the fix for the seats. It ended up being the rails being jammed by the cables, so just some wire organizing and cleaning out the rails. It was a pretty simple fix.
So now both seats work as they're supposed to. If you haven't watched the last video, there was a leak coming from the rocker cover gaskets, so it's definitely time to change them. There's oil dripping all the way down from the rocker covers. We just got the serpentine belt, the O-rings and the rocker cover gaskets, and a new oil filter as well, and some new bolts for the rocker covers. So we're gonna put all that on now, and then we can finally start the car.
Alright guys, we're going to check the rocker covers because they're prone to cracking, and there's already a little bit of oil on the headers. And while we're at it, we're going to check the gaskets as well, just to make sure that everything is okay. So let's get to it.
So now we got into changing the rocker cover gaskets. This honestly wasn't too bad of a process. One of the big issues with this car is sometimes the rocker cover gaskets can leak, and in our case we saw a lot of oil dripping down. And we traced it back and we could tell that it was coming straight from the rocker covers, so we knew we had to change them. This can be an issue because obviously firstly you're losing oil, and secondly it can cause possibly even a fire if enough oil goes down into the exhaust. Obviously that exhaust is really hot, especially where the cats are. That can cause a fire in some cases, so it was definitely a good thing that we changed these to prevent any future issues. So to get to the bottom screws on the rocker cover, we had to create this tool here with a universal joint on the end because they're really difficult to get to. So if you're taking the rocker covers off a C63, you need something like this. It's pretty difficult. It's also very important to clean where the rocker cover gasket seals to prevent future leaks and also so that the new gasket seals on top properly. Alright, so it turns out the old ECU couldn't be fixed. It was completely cooked, it was stuffed. So what they had to do is they had to get a new ECU and code it to the VIN. They coded it straight from Mercedes online, and so it's got the 507 tune, it's got everything we want. So that's now in the car there, got the new ECU. So, provided we've done everything right and that was the issue, when we put the rocker cover gaskets back on and it's ready to start, it should start up and we should finally have this thing up and running. Isn't that right, Chris? Alright, so let's get these old gaskets off. And yep, so these are the old ones. They're very brittle, so we gotta put some new ones on. Washing parts in the shower. That's the way to do it.
Alright guys, so we have the new rocker cover gaskets as well as the O-rings on, just because the old ones were brittle and just snapped when we took them off. So now we're going to put them on and seal them all up, and hopefully there's no more oil leaks. We might just take a look again at the headers just to make sure that it was this that was leaking, but we're pretty certain that that's exactly what it is. So yeah, let's get to it.
Now it's time to put the rocker cover gaskets back on. The left-hand side rocker cover gasket is notoriously difficult to get back on, as the firewall gets in the way. If I'm honest, we're not qualified mechanics. We had to call in the help of my dad so that we didn't mess up the seal and cause another leak.
Since this is an entirely new ECU, we had to do the personalization process using our Altair tool, so we could finally start the car. This process only took a few minutes, and the anticipation was growing to finally hear what the C63 sounds like.
And now the long-awaited moment had come. It was time to finally start the car.
There you go.
Start the car.
Just let me start it.